but then, okay, so the recording started. So welcome to the team meeting. I know there's just a few of us on now, but a lot of people catch the recording because they can't get it live. Either they're at work or like you guys on the East Coast. I always record it and then post it in the team page with the recording. Oh, there, Sharon, now we see you. Hi.
I didn't know how to work it, sorry.
Oh, well, perfect. You got it all figured out. That's awesome. Okay, so what I kind of want the team meetings to do is be able, so we're all going to come together because you guys obviously we're on different coasts and all over the country. So we can't get together, you know, in person. So these Zooms are awesome. Just a way to keep our community together and be able to answer questions and share ideas and share with everyone what's working and new things that we've discovered and done. And so today, Pam is our 10K leader, and some of her affiliates here on the Zoom with her, and they're going to, Lisa and Michelle, are going to share with what they're doing to grow their business, because the first couple meetings ago, Shannon was on and she was telling how she goes after customers and gets customers first and then converts them to affiliates. Last week, Casey Ridley was on, who is Josh's buddy, and he leads with the business and even talked about buying leads from the back office and stuff. So that was interesting. And and as a side note for everyone on the West Coast, and if you guys know anyone, the first event, remember Josh on his corporate webinar was talking about they're going around the country and hosting opportunity events. So the first one is going to be next month in California in the LA area. So even if you guys are over on the East Coast and live here, so if you know anyone, once I get the actual date and the location, it's going to be LA area next month, February sometime. Just get people there and just help them close the deal with their presentations and stuff. So it's a great opportunity meeting. And then the next one is going to be Texas. So Casey is a good friend of ours, and he's a good friend of Josh's, so he gets all the inside scoop. So then he was messaging me last night and letting me know. And he's going to be the one driving the hemp truck with all the stuff in it. From corporate. That's really cool. But anyway, so I am going to pass along the meeting to Pam and let you take it from here.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, first of all, I love these Zoom meetings because I love to do these face-to-face. And after Laura and I did a one-on-one the other night, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so cool now that I have this new computer and I've got Zoom on it and I'm kind of figuring out how to use Zoom. I thought all of us, I know, Michelle, you and I are like trying to type frantically sometimes one-on-one, and we can just jump on and do this. So it makes it a lot easier. But I just had a couple things I wanted to go over, just kind of to remind everybody and to remind myself mostly. So I run into a lot of people that, you know, I may be talking to about the business opportunity, and they say, oh, well, I just don't have time. I don't have time to do that. And, you know, some of you guys know me, some of you don't. My real regular job is 24/7. It's my life. I live it and breathe it. And when I talk about doing hemp work, nooks and crannies, I literally have woven hemp works through my life. So it's not, yes, as a business, you have to work really hard if you want to succeed. But I have found that the easiest way to do it is to have it become a lifestyle and really just weave it through everything you're doing. I mean, there's probably not a conversation that I have either online or with people. Even I said from the beginning I was going to be very careful not to cross the pancreatic cancer line, which is my regular business, and my hemp works line. But the people are bringing it up to me. My volunteers are bringing it up to me. That's how I know Michelle. So it's interesting. So it literally is woven through every part of my life. So I kind of chuckle when I hear people say, oh, I don't have time. All that means to me is it's not a priority for you. And that's okay. Maybe it will be one day. So I just wanted to make that point that, and Shannon's got 3 little ones. And while she's lucky enough to be a stay-at-home mom, 3 little ones I've never done little ones. I get my kids half grown, So that's a handful. And look at Shannon. She just went 25K. I mean, that is amazing. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to make that point really quick. And then one of the things I wanted to talk about, and we talk about it sometimes within our own team, but it's that 4-pack deal that we have converted to buy 3, get 1 free. Because you really are getting more than 1 free. You're almost even paying for your shipping, but I don't think I'd go as far as saying that. But it really, when you pitch it like that and you're telling the absolute truth, because they're paying $199, you're saving $77. Well, when you get that $69 4th item for free, but then you're saving another $8 on top of it, it really is more than buy 3, get 1 free. So I sell a lot of 4-packs. And I do it because once I start talking to somebody, I start just kind of probing them a little bit. I start, they'll start telling me, I'll say, well, what are some of the issues you're experiencing? And I always say, but I want to make it really clear, I cannot make any medical claims, nor can I, give out medical advice. I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. It's not something that we can do. But what are the issues that you're dealing with? So then they open up, they tell you about their issues. I always say, you know what? It would be worth a try. I can guarantee you that it would be worth a try. And then I'll start saying, if they've mentioned that they're married, oh, well, what does your husband and wife do? Do they have any issues that they might get some relief from? And then they'll say, oh yeah, my husband, his back is sore all the time. And I said, oh, and do you have any pets? And I just start probing, or sometimes they'll tell me stuff before I even ask. And before you know it, they've talked themselves into a 4-pack. So it's just a matter of, don't take anybody at surface. You learn in sales from the get-go that it's more about listening, asking probing questions, and then taking all that information that you hear and coming up with a solution. And that's all that we're doing, is we have a wonderful solution for so many people if we can just talk to them about what some of the needs are. And coffee, most people drink, not everybody drinks coffee, but a lot of people drink coffee. And I think it just came up the other day in our private chat about somebody said, oh, I don't drink coffee. I said, well, you could put because they wanted the keto. I said, you could put it right in your protein shake, would be awesome. So we have a private chat that we just talk on every single day, and I think we get a lot of tips from each other. But one of the other things that I do with the 4-packs, anytime there's something coming up, like this weekend is Martin Luther King weekend, right? Monday's a holiday for most of us. So I've made up an ad, or a post, I guess you should say, just in a collage maker thing, saying, we're celebrating Martin Luther King weekend, buy 3, get 1 free. And it's funny because Brenda said to me this morning, well, but isn't that deal always on? And I said, well, of course it's always on, but I'm not saying this, only for this weekend we have this deal. I'm just saying, hey, we're celebrating Martin Luther King weekend. And guess what? We have a buy 3, get 1 free.
And people just think they're getting a deal. People that don't know that it's normally available.
Exactly. And that's okay, because we're not saying that it's not always available. And on Valentine's Day, I'll be coming up with something else. I try to use, one time I did Happy Sunday, celebrating Sunday. Whatever you can do to get people to pay attention to your post and think, wow, buy 3, get 1 free. everybody loves free.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that just for a quick second, because I mean, I think, you know, that's 100 BV a pop, and people are trying different products. And Michelle, you made a really good point today. What did you say about
telling the people
if
that
you get the family
instead
members
of
to,
right, and
Right,
getting
split
family
it,
members
yeah.
to do it, and then I've always been someone. My husband was a gifted photographer, and we used to go to photography conferences all the time. And I took away this one point: everybody knows 300 people, and you may not know that you know 300 people, but you do. So let's say you talk to one person about the buy 3 get 1 free, and then I say, a 500 bottle is $69, but if you buy, you get 4 people to go in on you, it's only $50 each. And they're like, oh, wow, yeah, I have 3 friends we could all chip in $50 each. And in reality, then they have 300 friends, each of those 4. And now that's how you grow to many more people who are doing that, because those 4 people who have bought that pack together are going to come back in another month or a month and a half and say, wow, that really worked for me. I want another one. And I have 3 more friends who want to go in on that 3-for-1 deal. So that's kind of how I work it. And when I tell them it's $50 a bottle for the 500 milligram, or $70 a bottle versus $89 a bottle for the 750 milligram, they're like, wow, that's a really good deal. And I'm like, yeah, who doesn't have $50 that, and like when I always have that one post that it breaks it down to 69 cents a drop or a day. And I say, when you think about that, who doesn't have 69 cents a day? We have this place called Stewart's up in the Northeast, and you can't buy and everyone loves Stewart's coffee. It's like Cumberland, but you can't buy a Stewart's coffee for 69 cents a piece. So, that's kind of how I get that. And then after those 4 people buy, they tell 4 more people who tell 4 more people, and then that's how it grows. It really is word of mouth. Even my Uber driver, when I went to the airport yesterday, she asked me what else I do. So I gave her my card, and she's like, well, as soon as you get to Florida, call me because I want to order some. So I called her today, and I said, Dorothy, I had a great ride with you. I love talking with you. She bought a 4-pack today. She was like, she was my Uber driver yesterday,
I love it.
And she drives Uber. So to me, she's motivated to earn money. So I said, Dorothy, get this. She bought it for her husband and her son and herself. There were 4 of them. I said, but I know that you're an Uber driver. And I said, and I know your son's an Uber driver and he does Uber Eats. But I'm telling you, you will make good money with this also. So think about it. Use it. Get back to me in another, because she ordered it tonight. Get back to me in about, 2 weeks. Let's reconnect. And I bet you probably would want to sign on to become an affiliate. So
wait, I want to make a point right there. Michelle, what you just said, that is so brilliant, because you are assuming the sale. And when you approach it like that, from that place, that is golden, because you're already putting it into somebody's mind that of course they're going to want to do that.
Yeah.
And
I just knew the way she said.
Why wouldn't she want to become an affiliate? Because look at how many people she's going to come into contact
Oh
with.
my God.
Being an Uber
That's
driver.
what I said to her, because I took it out of my purse and I gave her my business card. She goes, you have a business card for HempWorks? I'm like, yeah, I do, and it has my website right on it, and I have put my business card in Stewart's, and I've gotten some people call me because they have a bulletin board up,
Yeah.
and so I just put my business card up there, and I've had people call, I saw your card at Stewart's, tell me about it. So, that's how I've done that. And I just firmly believe that, everybody knows 300 people. And once you say that, because like what you were just saying, Pam, I don't have the time. You don't need a lot of time to do this, but like you all know, and I've posted that I'm listening to that, Freakishly Easy social media book, or book, the book on audio books. I'm telling you, what they say is nothing more than what we do already. And even today, I friended 3 more people who were mutual friends of mine. So I posted that on our dream team. And I went, I just posted my 3 new friends. Have you? And I just, I think if we do that, then the people who are reading that are going, oh, well, I haven't done that. Well, I'll post 3 friends. And that's what this couple says. Every day we should be she says 10. She says 10 people, but she said every day we should be doing between 3 to 10 new friends. And when you do that, those 3 to 10 new friends will take a couple weeks and listen to your posts. They won't get right back to you tomorrow or the next day. They're gonna watch your stuff for a couple weeks, and then they're going to come back and say, gee, I've been following you for a couple weeks. Tell me more about it.
And you know what,
today
Michelle?
I got
sorry to interrupt. I was going to say the other day, I had a gal that I had friended the night before come on the following morning and order a bottle.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm like, I need to start friending more people.
It's true. And that one post I put with the bicycle ride, my diet gal put that on hers. So I called her and said, I'm going to steal that. You don't mind, right? She goes, no, that's fine. I stole it. 2 people today said, I watched your thing about the bicycle. Tell me more about the HempWorks. So 2 more people I'm talking to tonight about it. And I said, I'm going on. I'm going to do the Zoom thing tonight. I'll let you know how it goes, and I'll call you tomorrow. So, I just think that people do, and you told me this, Pam, when you and I first started back in I think it was last February, almost a year, because I didn't start doing it until April. And you said people will watch and listen and read your stuff for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then they'll make a comment. But if anybody likes a post I do, I like them back, and I say, thank you for liking that. Let me know if I can answer any questions about it. So that's another lead you have, because once you do a post and somebody likes it, you see who liked it, and you click onto them and just send them a private message and saying, thanks for liking my post. It's such a cool thing. I feel so much better taking this oil. That's all I say. That's all I don't say, do you want to join? Do you want to buy a bottle? I just make that point. And that's what this book is telling me to do too. Don't go in for the hard sale. Go in and say, oh, I saw that you saw my bicycle. Wasn't that a cute little thing? Just start a conversation about anything else, and then they will bring it up. And then as soon as they bring it up, boom, then you got it.
So
because
Michelle,
if we bring it up, then, go ahead.
Oh, Michelle, I was going to say, so you've got so many great tips, which is why I wanted you to jump on tonight. You have a really unique way of signing your people up. And I know it's not probably going to be for everybody, but we all have different ways of doing things. And I think the more we can share, the more we can learn. And, certain things are going to click with certain people that are going to say, oh my gosh, I never thought about that, or I never realized we could do that, or share how you do your Cash HempWorks business.
So I have a book club, and so this is how I first started it, and I told you about this. What am I going to do with all this cash? I tried to deposit the money in my cash wallet, but it was—
Wait, back up. Michelle, back up. How do you, when you're having a conversation with somebody, how does it even lead to them giving you cash? How are you closing that sale so quickly that you're taking then control with the cash?
Right. So if somebody asks me about what I'm doing and about the oil, if I'm talking about it, they're like, well, I'd like to do that, but I don't want to get involved with the internet. I don't want to sign up. And I said, don't worry about it. You know what? I have 3 other people who want to do this. And so I would do the $69 bottle for $50. And then what I do is I go take that cash and I go buy prepaid credit cards with it. And I already asked corporate, the chat, is that something we can do? Can we pay with prepaid? And they said, absolutely, absolutely. So when people don't want to deal with going on the website or registering, they give me their information. And Lisa, you've done this a couple times too. I put in my own password for them, and it usually is how I've known them. Like when I signed you up, Lisa, I put in Lisa1 Bosse's, because we both work together. And then she went in and changed her password afterwards. But the minute I do that, then I take that into my iPhone notes, and I put that in there. So I have a list of all of those customers in case they lose their password or their ID number. I have that all down there. But I just buy, like I did that the other day. She ordered a 69 bottle, so it was 74. I don't know what it is, 74.29. And I just went and bought. She gave me $75. I gave her back the change, and I went and bought a $75 prepaid card, and I signed her up with that prepaid card. Now she has her own account, and I said, now if you want to do that, when this runs out, feel free. If not, get back to me, and we'll do the same thing again. So
that's
and
interesting.
I've done that with checks too. People want to give me a check. So I take the check, I deposit it into my account. I have them make it out to cash into my account, and I take that and I make a prepaid card.
So what's really interesting is that, because we all have had it, people that say, oh, I'm really interested, I'm going to sign up. And then radio silence, and you reach back out to them with, hey, let me know if you have any questions when you go to sign up. Okay, I will. And then you never hear anything. Michelle is closing every single conversation that she has. I just thought it was fascinating. You know, again, it's not going to be for everybody, but I just thought we should all know that it's even possible to do that, because I can think of a few situations where that totally would have made sense even with people that I'm dealing with.
Right. Someone you're out to dinner with. I mean, I started it with my book club. I signed all 10 of them up. They all gave me cash. You know, now I have 3 that go on and do it all by themselves now. But the other ones, they just give me the cash every month, and I go in, and the bottles come right to their house. It's like a miracle. But it's also a no-brainer for them, because it's one less thing they have to think about. I'm reminding them of it every month at book club. How's your bottle? How's it going? Do you have any more? You know, tip it up into the light. How many more do you think you have? Do you need it? So here's $50, or let me write you a check for $50. Because what I'm doing then is I'm buying 4, because I've got 4 people together. Right. But I'm signing up one, or I'm signing up another person the next month. So now they're different customers. See,
wait,
so,
I don't
but they're all
understand.
coming
Say that again. So you're not signing them up with their individual accounts?
Not if they've given me $50. If they give me $69 or $74.29 with the tax, then I sign them up. But if I have 4 girls that want to do it and they give me $50, I do the 3 for 1. I sign up one person, and then the next month I sign it up under another name.
That's a lot of stuff to keep track of.
Yeah. So
it works for me because it's the same girls every month.
Right.
But I don't do that
with
everybody. That's just my book club.
Because the direct package that you're ordering gets sent to one person, so then she gets all
one
the
person
that she has to distribute.
Right.
So they have
but then she just distributes the next month at book club.
Yeah. So that would work. Like you said, it's your book club. It's people that hang around together. You know, they're spending time together. So
they go to Zumba on Thursdays. Yeah. They're doing that. But the somebody who just wants to give me $74.29, or I can't remember what it is off. I just go and get a $75 prepaid, and then I just refill it again the next, probably 2 months when they want to reorder again.
Yeah, no, and that's great. But I mean, the advantage though of having each individual person sign, because then when it comes to like the global share pool, you're actually
I have four accounts, right?
Right. Yeah, so you'd have 2 shares as opposed to none, or I'm sorry, 1 share as opposed to none. So, well, but I just thought that was really interesting. So I wanted Michelle to just share her tactics on that. And I know, Lisa, you signed up and you're like a signing machine. Like, what are you doing, girl?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a signing machine. I've had a couple people. I did the same thing for 2 people. Well, not the same thing, but I did create their account, and they just gave me their credit card number, and I put that in, made up a password for them. And then I said that they could go in and change their password. So they have their own, their own account set up. But I, other than that, I've just taken
2 months. Yeah.
a few.
Your first
I
2
haven't-
months,
I don't
you
think I've
have
gotten
like
a
10
lot of sales, but just a couple here and there, a couple
Oh.
4-packs.
Is she- is
You're
she
being very modest.
She's being modest.
I'm asking Michelle, who is this girl, Lisa? She's signing up so many people.
I know. I know. I said she's a teacher I've been working with for the years, and you know, and honestly, she was in one of my trainings, and I was, you know, I'm very passionate when I talk to people about my late husband and what my son does. My son has been in the medicinal cannabis since we used it with my husband 7 years ago, and you know, so she came up to me after class and she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, my arthritis, I'm using it for my knuckles and my knees because, you know, the training I'm doing is we work with kids who are pretty aggressive, and I teach them how to do very safe restraints when there's imminent risk of danger." And she goes, "You know, my arthritis is bad." So I said, I gave her a little sample. You know, at that point, we didn't have the sample jars. I was keeping my old bottles and cleaning them, disinfecting the droppers, and I was buying new bottles and just filling it like a quarter full, and I'd give them a sample, and I said, "Just go home and try this for a couple days, let me know." And many times when they've done that, they've come back and said, in 3 or 4 days, I'm able to see my knees. I haven't been able to see my knees in 4 years.
Yeah.
Or I can tell the difference in my hands right away. And then they order a bottle. And that's exactly what Lisa did. And then I don't remember how long it was, Lisa, but I think it was probably the next month she said, "I want to be an affiliate." So I said, "Join on, here we go." And
Yeah,
I think
and
she
I
got
just-
like 7 or
just as
8 people her first
just-
month.
Just as a disclaimer, I want to say that Michelle was doing this before we had the rule that we weren't allowed to do samples like that.
I know. And now I just buy those little sample, you know, the bottles, and that's what I give out sometimes, you know. I know.
Yeah.
I was a bad girl, but it did work. It did work.
Oh God, you're one of those. Ask forgiveness instead of permission, right?
It's much easier to say I'm sorry afterwards. Yeah.
Well, and you know what, Michelle, you bring up a really good point too with the sample packs, because this is a point that I even forgot that I wanted to make tonight. Because somebody was talking on one of the boards, I can't remember which one, about, you know, when people are buying the sample packs, they're concerned that somebody's not going to come back and buy full product or whatever, or they're saying that, "Oh, I tried this 500 and it didn't work." When I sell the sample packs, I have a conversation with each of those people, and I share with them, okay, the sample pack is great because it's going to give you the opportunity not only to try the oil, it's the 500 THC free, but we'll come back to that in a second, but it's going to give you the opportunity to try the relief, which is amazing, teeny tiny bit, you're going to feel a difference. And also the skincare products, which are phenomenal. So back to the 500, I just want you to know that the 500 may very well work for you. But if it doesn't, don't fret, because guess what? We have the 750 and we have the 750 full spectrum, and most people, that's kind of what works for them. So I just want you to know that going in. So I'm setting expectations so that when the 500, or if the 500 THC free doesn't work for them, they've already had that expectation set. So it's not a huge disappointment because they already know we're right here with the 750 that you can go ahead and order. And I actually had one girl say, "You know what, don't even order the sample pack for me. Let me just go ahead and order the 750. Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
But it's all about communicating, setting the expectations. You know, yeah, if we send out the link for the sample packs, that's fine. You're not going to have conversations with each one of those people. It's sometimes impossible if you have a lot of people signing up. But whenever possible, I try to have that conversation just so that, you know, they know that because I know I mostly sell 750. I very rarely sell the 500. Personally, I think the 750 is a better value. They can use less drops, and I personally felt the difference between the two when I was really sick last year, and I was taking a lot of opiates. I mean, I was taking a lot of drugs. And when I would get within an hour of having to take those drugs, my body would start going through full-on withdrawals, the shaking uncontrollably, sweating profusely. And one time Steve said, let me try this. And he put like 5 drops of the 750 under my tongue, and it instantly stopped the withdrawals. It was the craziest thing. He even said, had I not seen it myself, I would have never believed it. So that was kind of we got in the group of doing that so that we could manage my withdrawals. And one day I ran out of the 750 and all I had in the house was 500. So we did the same thing with the 500. It took about 10 minutes and it barely took the edge off. So that was kind of the contrast that I saw between the two. And I thought that, I know it's different for every person's body, but I thought that was pretty significant.
Right. Because on the flip side, because you have really chronic issues with trying to get off all those horrible drugs.
Right.
Whereas my husband's brother, he was having pain in his legs and he got on the 500 and he was like, oh my gosh, this is just crazy. This is so good, amazing, blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
Then got the 750 thinking that it would be better. Started feeling horrible, worse, the stuff, why is it working? And then it's not working. And then so we scaled him back to the 500, back to fewer drops. And then he started getting the relief again.
Oh, that's really interesting to know.
Yeah. So
That's that sweet spot. My son talks about that all the time.
Sometimes it's better for people and the 750 isn't.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. So there's,
I have a post for the sweet spot too. So I can put that on our group too, because that's a good one. And I talk about the sweet spot all the time. Where you forget the sweet spot of what works the best for your body.
right. Is everyone?
And I also show that Dr. Gupta video. That's what I send out. In fact, I sent 4 or 5 of those out today. People say, "Can you send me that video?"
Yeah, we have to be really careful with that, only because it's got disease names in there. But
okay.
Just be careful if you take it off the internet too, that some other CBD person didn't post it, that at the bottom or in there somehow.
Yeah.
Right. That had your information. Right. I did do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And look in the URL too, because sometimes their name is buried in the URL. Okay. I have found that several times too, because sometimes I have to look for the original source of something. Even things that I borrow from Laura. Where did that come from? So, okay. So, one of the other things that I wanted to talk about, and I don't really have an answer for this, Laura and I were talking about it the other day, and this almost could be a whole conversation, but if everybody could really think about it, or maybe if some of you have something that's working really well, it would be great to share it. So I know that all of us who have signed up customers have customers that don't reorder. And I can't believe that many people the oil simply isn't working for. My personal belief is that they're probably not following our instructions and using it correctly. They're probably using it more like an aspirin.
Right.
And, sometimes it works that way for certain, head issues. But we know that's not how it's intended to work. So I take a look at all the people that haven't reordered and think about, wow, what would our volume look like if even 50% of those people reordered? So how do we follow up with them? How do we communicate, and what do we communicate? Does anybody have any ideas on that?
I have something that I say. This is Holly.
Hi,
I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Hi.
Hi.
We can hear you.
So my mom has been taking the 500. She took the 500 faithfully for a month or two, and then she went up to a month, and then she went up to the 750, and now she's on the 750. She's on like her second bottle of the 750, and she has been taking it exactly as I said, the first 5 drops under her tongue twice a day and then going up from there and stuff. And she told me, she's like, I don't really feel any different, or, and I told her, I said, so what I tell people, there's 2 things that I tell them. And I say, well, first, you're probably noticing a lack of, right? I didn't feel like I had insomnia last night. I feel fine. Like, I don't notice any big whatever. Or I'm not as moody, or I'm whatever. Like, you're noticing a lack of. And even if you're not, it is the most powerful antioxidant. Like, it's one of the most powerful antioxidants fighting free radicals. And if you care about, your skin and you're, fighting things that cause disease and fighting things that cause problems, you may not be experiencing a lot of chronic health issues, but oh my gosh, you could be taking something proactively that will help your body even in ways that you're not seeing it. So I talk about the ways that it proactively could help someone, just like if you exercise proactively, you drink water proactively, you take CBD oil freaking proactively. You know what I mean? And that's what I tell people.
That sounds great. That's a good thing. And my son will say the same thing. It's like, Mom, it's slow and consistent. You have to be consistent. That's how your body realigns. If you don't continue with it, your body will slip back to the old ways and you will start feeling the way you felt before. It has to be consistent. And that, he says that to me all the time. So I started slow and I've been consistent, and there isn't a day goes by that I don't take it. So,
Yeah.
And even if I wake up and I feel great, there isn't even any kind of thoughts in my brain that would say, I feel good, I'm not taking it today. I take it just like I would take a vitamin.
Well, because it's a supplement basically, and if we can get people to understand how the endocannabinoid system works and how it actually, that our bodies produce CBD, but not enough, and that this additional CBD is actually absolutely necessary for that endocannabinoid system to keep our bodies in homeostasis or balance. And the way it does it is by managing our inflammatory system, our central nervous system, and a number of other things. But it's got to be consistent. And yeah, if people say Brenda and I had a cousin, this was interesting, who bought some right away from Brenda, and then he said, oh yeah, I'm not going to buy it anymore. In fact, he wanted to return it because he said it doesn't do anything different than ibuprofen does. Well, so you're going to put ibuprofen into your body and potentially damage your liver?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, and I think some people just have that mentality, and he's a very bright individual. I just think some people have that mentality. Like, I can go down and buy a bottle of ibuprofen for $8.99 at CVS, and this was $89. But they're not really realizing the difference in the fact that it's a supplement and how it's working in your body.
Yeah, and they don't know maybe what, like Holly was saying, prophylactically, like what disease that you might be gotten had you not been taking this CBD.
Right.
With our end,
or other things that keeping at bay that isn't exacerbating. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was gonna say that is I think it also comes down to like belief and in the product and passion. And I think that comes from taking it. Like you have to take it yourself, first of all. But I believe in this oil, not just for myself, but for my animals, because that's really why I got it. Was my dog was running out of oil, and I was like, I saw Laura posting for like a year, and then I was like, well, I'm not in California.
That was watching me and not doing anything, not liking anything, not commenting.
No, I never commented or anything. And then just one day I went and got an executive pack, and she was like, did you just get an executive pack? And I was like, yeah, I just did it on the down low. But the thing is, when I took my first dose, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like, and I'm not on my big pharma drugs anymore, but let me tell you, I ran out of my oil because I gave a bottle to my mother-in-law. I ran out of my oil like a couple days ago. And so my oil should arrive today. It hasn't come yet, but it's going to come soon. But I have felt like crap the last couple days. And I'm like, this is why I love this oil, though. I'm grateful for feeling bad because it reinforces my belief and my love and why everybody needs this oil. Like, everybody needs it. And I think convincing people who don't have health issues or who feel like, oh, I don't really need it, it comes down to the belief that you're like, yeah, you do, though. I mean, you do need it. I mean, you do need it. How much are you going to spend in your later years from using ibuprofen for 3 decades?
Oh my God.
Versus not having to use it. I mean, like, you have to look at it that way. And I think that also comes to how you believe that it's just something that's going to save them. It's going to help them. And I totally believe that. Every person, child, every animal, I just fully believe that they need the quality oil, and educating on why ours is the quality oil, like, because it is the best. And these are the reasons it's the best. And that's just the bottom line to me.
Well, and that brings up a really good point too, because we've been having a lot of conversation about comparing the products. And I just had somebody approach me a couple of days ago, and she said, oh, I've been taking 1,000 milligrams, but I'm not really sure. I think I probably need more. And I said, oh, well, what brand is it? And I said, can you send me a picture of what you're taking? So she sent me a picture just of the front because that's all she had. And so I looked it up really quickly online. There were at least 5 or 6 different things, junk stuff, added to the oil. So I took a screenshot of that. I sent it to her and I said, wow, this is really interesting. Like, I'm not really sure why they're adding all this stuff in there. And I didn't say anything else. And she's like, oh my God, I never even realized. So yours is pure? I'm like, yeah. It was just, I didn't.
Ingredients, that's it.
Yeah. So, but I really quick was able to look it up online because all these other oils that are out there, you can pull them up online. You can see the labels for the most part and just look. Oh, and there was one a few weeks ago. This was interesting because this gal was saying, oh, well, the company I buy from, they have third-party testing too. And I said, well, that's fabulous. So I went on their website, I pulled up their third-party testing, and those analysis, they're not that easy to read, but I was scrolling down and doing my best to try to understand it. And then down towards the bottom, it said trace elements of ethanol and a few other chemicals. And I said, oh my gosh, here's the thing. We don't use a chemical extraction. A lot of people do because it's cheaper. And I showed her that. She's like, oh my God, I didn't know I was putting that in my body. I said, yeah, why would you want to do that? But even with, they're proudly bragging that they have third-party documentation and analysis, and people are going, oh, that's great. So you have to kind of know to look for that stuff. It's really an education. I'm learning all the while.
Yeah. Something new every day. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So comforting to know that we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. When we tell people about how great our products are and we don't have all these fillers and then all these other companies are obviously jumping on the bandwagon, right, Holly? Bringing out their own CBD oils. We had a conversation about one not too long ago. But
it makes me nuts.
But they have all sorts of stuff in it, fillers and monk fruit and xylitol, and xylitol is a killer for dogs, and God forbid if your pet got a hold of a CBD oil that had that in it, and we just don't have to worry about any of that, and it's so comforting.
And Laura, you said something that I really valued, because you said, because I got so mad because I'm sorry, I have my animals with me and they're having a moment. So it really mattered to me because I am so passionate about my animals, and I'm passionate about CBD oil. And the reason that I love HempWorks is because, like, the I don't know how to explain it other than when it was still, I mean, it still has a stigma, but when it wasn't as popular, they were doing the hard work, right? Like, they were doing the research, they were doing the groundwork, they were researching and doing the purist and all the different stuff for why it matters to your health. Instead of, I'm just going to add this as a product because, like, our people are now demanding it. It's like, okay, well, that made me a little mad. And Laura said, listen, you have to keep your blinders on. You know, you have to just keep your blinders on, and documentation beats conversation. And you just have to remember why we are with HempWorks and why it is the best. It's not just about adding a product because it's got a demand. It's because it's going to help people. And there's multiple layers, not just with HempWorks, but with the U.S. Hemp Roundtable and Summit, and how we're a part of that, and trying to make a difference, like, in the world, and physically, medically, mentally, like, all the stuff that goes into it. It's not just, well, we're going to add this product because it's now being demanded by people. Do you know what I mean? So she said, just keep your blinders on. And I've had people who've had animals on other CBD oil, and they've gotten sick. And I said, don't give them that oil. My husband's been in veterinary medicine for 25 years, and our dog was on crappy oil. We didn't know any better, but I said, don't do it. And so they've taken our oil and had a total turnaround, night and day. And so we just, even though it's all out there and it's popular, I just research why ours is the best, and I keep my blinders on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you do have to keep your blinders on. I think that's a really good point. But you also need to be educated on what else is out there and what's kind of the downside of some of the stuff out there. I was on a call today for my work with a pediatrician who is one of our volunteers, and she had actually bought some oil from me because she wants to try it with some of her patients. I guess a lot of her patients are low income and they wouldn't necessarily have the funds to do it. So she just wants to try with a couple of the kids, you know, obviously with the parents' agreement. And I was talking to her about some of the, you know, how pure our oil is, and some of these other companies that are adding things just so that they can get a marketing hype out of it. And she's like, that is so ridiculous. Like, you know, the ones that are saying, oh, well, we make ours water soluble so that you get a better, faster absorption rate. And here's a doctor. She said, your body can absorb oil just fine. It does not need to be water soluble. And I said, thank you. Exactly. So yeah, we do need to kind of forge straight ahead, but we need to be aware of what's going on so that when it comes our way,
We just can't let it, my point was, we just can't let it distract us. Like,
absolutely.
So hung up with them.
Or deter us.
Yeah.
Big essential oil company coming out with their own CBD oil.
Yeah.
And the way they're marketing it, and how theirs is going to be so much better because it's going to also have essential oils in it, as well as a CBD isolate. And those other oils are going to act as like the entourage and blah, 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 blah. So
the plant is enough.
Yeah.
Hashtag the plant is enough.
So.
No, but what you actually said actually is important about knowing what's out there. Did you see that thing that Jenna posted about how we test for even other people's oils and how we found plastic and drywall and stuff in some other people's oils? She's got a video on her page. And she said, you know, we don't just test our oil, we test other people's oil. And we found it diluted, we found it cut down, we found plastics, drywall. And that's what you're putting in your body. They're not going to put that on their label. But when we test other people's oil, they found that in other people's oil. And so it's good to know that too, like, to your point.
Yeah, and it's not about slamming other companies to make ourselves look good because we don't have to do that. All we need to say is we are pure and we stand behind our product. We believe in our product because purity is what we're after.
Right. And we have the
You don't
documentation.
need to cut it.
Yeah.
And we don't hide the documentation. Anyone can see it before you buy it. Because some, when Shannon was doing her research, some companies were saying, well, once you buy it, then we'll send it to you. You know?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, I guess every company's got their own way of marketing and, trying to add what they think they need to add for a marketing hype or to, dilute the product. Like many of the other companies that I've looked at, they'll say that there's 30 servings in their bottle, whereas we have 50, and their 30 servings is you're having to take a lot more drops to get the same amount of CBD because there's so much other junk in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, that's from I guess it would be a business decision on their part. They're going to sell more bottles if people keep buying their product because they're going to need to buy their product more often.
Yeah.
Right, and it doesn't cost them as much to produce it because they're adding fillers to it, so that they don't have as much CBD in it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
well, this was fun. This was great. I like
Yeah.
that.
I love the interaction. I love being able to hear from all of you guys because everybody's nice to meet you, Holly. I've never met you before. And Shelley, you've been really quiet tonight. But we can see you.
But see, everybody has a story, and that's another thing I say to people is you have your own story. And once you're passionate about it, and if somebody just signs on, like I had a gal who bought and became an affiliate the same day. And I said, you know what, please don't start selling anything yet. Don't start getting customers yet. You need to take it. You need to feel it. Because once you feel it and you have a passion about it, then that's your story. Once you start talking about your story, that's all it is. And that was Elizabeth. She got 3 people today. She sold 3 items, and she's a waitress.
Wow.
And I said, you have regular customers that you see all the time. They know you have bad knees. They know you have arthritis. You're going to say, my gosh, I'm able to handle this tray of food so much better now. Well, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, I got into this thing. That's your story. That's the most important part of it. And people who say, oh, you mean I have to buy a bottle every month to keep my BV? I said, well, if you're not using it, how can you sell it?
Exactly.
I just don't believe that. I don't believe if you don't use it, you cannot sell it.
Right.
Because you're not passionate about it.
Because that's like that one company who you don't have to buy it. And so it's like, here, buy my product. I'm not using it, but I really think you should be buying it.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
If you don't have a passion and you don't have your story about it, you won't succeed. You won't. You have to have a story, and it has to work for you, and you have to believe it, and you have to have your story of how it's helped you feel better. And like Holly said, how she's been without it and she felt like crap. It's true, and I love that proactive thing. I'm going to start using that. Because that's another way of looking at it. Why do I drink, how much water I do, all the time? It's because it is proactively helping my body.
Right.
And
I don't have any health issues. It was my husband that had all the issues and how we got into it. But I'm fine. But I take it every day just because,
so you won't have issues.
Popping up with autoimmune diseases and, all these things that are cropping up because of the food that we eat, because of the cookware that we're using. I'm going to do a live on what I learned about the kind of cookware that you cook with. That
Give us a hint.
Don't diss my air fryer because I'll have to come back
on.
I got
nothing.
Can you give us a hint, Laura?
What?
Can you give us a hint?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Teflon. Do not
I
use
know.
Teflon. It
Okay.
emits toxins that cause brain cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer. I don't know. Maybe pancreatic cancer too. I don't know. So Teflon definitely is a no-no.
Okay.
They've said that for years. I know.
Yeah. And
cast iron. Go cast iron.
And so
Yeah.
Cast iron is, well, a lot of people say cast iron's okay, but then the people who are thinking heavy metals, glass is the best thing. So cooking with glass pots.
That's in the oven.
You can get glass pots that go on top as well.
You do?
Uh-huh.
I have
You don't
never
want
seen
colored glass though, because that has chemicals in it.
it, right?
Pyrex is good, but you don't want the old Pyrex. You want new Pyrex because the old Pyrex could have lead in it.
Oh my word.
Ceramic, if it's 100% ceramic, that's good, but not ceramic coated, not because that can start chipping and
Okay.
then release toxins, so you don't want that. Stainless
Okay.
steel has to be food grade stainless steel, not cheap stainless steel from China or something like that. It has to be good quality.
Uh-huh.
No copper.
See, this is why you gotta take CBD oil.
That's right.
This is why you gotta proactively take it.
Because
You
of the
just-
toxins, right?
Wait a minute.
Because
wait a
of the
minute. I just-
toxins.
Yeah. So you get rid of all your copper. No aluminum, obviously. No cooking with aluminum foil. So
Right.
don't wrap your stuff in aluminum and cook it
Right.
because the aluminum leaches and that causes Alzheimer's and everything.
All the bad
So-
stuff you just listed is literally all in my house right now.
Exactly. And that's what you have.
Yeah.
Well, and
So-
I'm really sad because I've been loving that orange copper. It is not healthy to use.
It's not healthy, but you love it. Is that what you just said?
No, I mean
It was a question mark.
I'm asking.
Have you
because
researched
I
the
love-
orange copper?
Oh, yeah. The copper. No. Copper's not good. Even though it's beautiful and expensive, you got to nixday the copper.
Not copper, but the orange things that are Gotham is the brand.
I'm not, I don't know, but anything that's non-stick, maybe kind of like that. Granite's okay. Like you can get the granite lining ones, but if it chips or something like that, then you got to get rid of it.
Wow, I better throw out a whole bunch of my stuff. Laura, when you do your video on that, can you, and you're probably already going to do this anyways, make sure to weave in why that is, because we all have that stuff in our kitchen. And
Right.
while we're getting rid of all of that, all the more reason why we need to take the oil, because then we can all take your video and do watch parties with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
One
we'll
more
just-
thing.
Yeah.
We'll
Yes,
make
I
you go viral, Laura.
There you
Go ahead, Jeannie.
Thank you. The other question was about Jenna's website, or is it her homepage where she was talking about other things that are in other products by different companies?
It's on her Facebook page. If you go to her videos on her Facebook page, she's got one, and I think it was the one where she was talking to the juicing company. When
Okay.
she went and she marketed herself to kind of the juicing company when she was in California. And I think it's in that video. It's really a very good video.
Yeah, it's a while
Okay.
ago. It was a while ago, if it's that one that I'm thinking of. That's
Like
not a recent video. You'd have
not
to.
a recent video, an old one.
She had, she still had the dreads in her hair. So
Okay.
I don't know when she made it, but it says how she marketed herself to the juicing company or whatever when she went in and they had like CBD oils and she was looking at their bottle and she was talking to them about it, and then she was talking about, anyway, I think it's that one.
Okay, thank you. I was curious. I would like to see that. So for more information to educate.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you. So
Thank you.
we've been on for an hour, so we will call it a night. Thank you, you guys, for joining us, and we will. Well, next week. Here, let me stop the recording actually, and then I could chat for a sec.